Hello, Namaskar, and welcome to Talking Point Blank. And on Talking Point Blank, we are back to the point with Abhijit. Hi, Abhijit. क्या हाल चाल?
बढ़िया. तो कैसे हैं आप?
बढ़िया, एकदम fit and fine.
शानदार.
So what are we talking about today?
हम गुफ्तगू करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि जो सऊदी अरेबिया और पाकिस्तान के बीच में डिफेंस पैक्ट हुआ है, इसकी क्या पॉलिटिकल वैल्यू है, क्या फेस वैल्यू है, क्या रियलिस्टिक वैल्यू है, इसका ज़्यादा रिलेवेंस सऊदी अरेबिया के फेवर में है मिडिल ईस्ट में, या फिर इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के फेवर में है. फर्दर हम इस चीज़ पे बात करेंगे कि जो इजरायली अग्रेशन था दोहा पे, क्या ये उसका सीधा आउटकम है, या फिर बहुत दिनों से सऊदी अरेबिया और पाकिस्तान म्यूचुअल कंसल्टेशन करते रहे हैं इस चीज़ को लेकर के कि हमारे दरमियान कुछ इस तरीके का समझौता होना चाहिए, या फिर दोनों का सेपरेट रोल है. और तीसरी चीज़ हम लोग एक छोटी सी वॉर गेम सिचुएशन डिस्कस करेंगे कि कल को अगर पुलवामा या फिर पहलगाम जैसा किसी तरीके का दहशतगर्दों का अटैक होता है इंडिया में, तो इंडिया के जो डिप्लोमेटिक ऑप्शंस हैं, इनफैक्ट जो इंडिया के काइनेटिक मिलिट्री ऑप्शंस हैं, क्या वो रिस्ट्रेंड हो जाएंगे. और दूसरी चीज़ जो इसमें लिखा हुआ है, अटैक ऑन वन वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज अटैक ऑन बोथ ऑफ द कंट्रीज, इसकी अपने अपनी इंटरप्रिटेशन होते हैं. सऊदी अरेबिया कैसे इंटरप्रेट करेगी और पाकिस्तान इसे कैसे इंटरप्रेट करेगा. फर्दर हम डिस्कस करेंगे अगर सऊदी अरेबिया ने वैसे ही इंटरप्रेट किया जैसे पाकिस्तान चाहता हो उसे इंटरप्रेट करना, तो लोगों को समझाने की कोशिश करेंगे कि अपने सिंपल नॉन कॉम्बेटेंट फोर्स को भेजना, स्टेशन करना भी उसमें आता है.
So where do you want me to begin?
सो आप सबसे पहले तो इस डिफेंस पैक्ट को बहुत ही शॉर्ट और छोटे कॉमन इंसान की लैंग्वेज में समझाएं ताकि सबको समझ में आए.
See, I'll tell you something. There is nothing short and common in this. ठीक है? It's a very complex situation in Middle East. Defense pact, if you go by the wording, says that attack on one is attack on another. What has really complicated this whole issue is the Pakistani statement where they say they are willing to give the nuclear umbrella to the Saudis. That includes the umbrella.
इसमें मैं एक पॉइंट ऐड करना चाहूँगा. लिंडसे ग्राहम, द फेमस वॉर मॉन्गर, इंडिपेंडेंट फॉरेन मिनिस्टर ऑफ द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, उनकी प्रिंस मोहम्मद से एक दफ़ा गुफ्तगू हो रही थी, तो उन्होंने पूछा कि क्या आप जो है वो न्यूक्लियर प्रोलिफिकेशन में इंटरेस्टेड हैं. तो मोहम्मद बिन सलमान साहब ने कहा कि मुझे चाहिए होगा तो मैं पाकिस्तान से खरीद लूँगा.
I will tell you exactly what that is, and I wanted to come to that, but मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ वो क्या है, मेन गेम क्या थी वो. But this is okay. So this was written in a book basically, and he said that I don't need uranium to make the bomb. I will just buy one from Pakistan.
Yes,
yeah? That is what has triggered the anxieties here basically. This is a complex situation. Now, why is this a complex situation? We have to understand what is happening in Middle East. Okay? The attack on Doha, Qatar. Now, I firmly believe that the Qataris were well informed about the attack.
Okay.
They might be playing this. Okay? Otherwise, we would have seen some kind of response from Qatar or some kind of response happening in the region.
Maybe.
Didn't come. The Iranians did respond. The Qataris have not responded.
Yes.
Okay? Now, what is happening in the Middle East? What is happening in the Middle East for a very long time is a fight of supremacy between three main powers, which is Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran.
The original Sunni state, the neo-Sunni state, and the Shia state.
Okay. So, Saudi and Iran have always been rivals.
Yes.
Turkey, after Erdogan's coming back in 2004, has emerged as a new power center. And they want to take away the Saudi supremacy to their own supremacy. Yes. The way whole this Gaza thing has gone, the Israel thing has gone, this has actually put both Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Israel onto different opposing sides. ठीक है. सऊदी का एक चीज देखो, सऊदी का जब भी इजराइल का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ है अरब कंट्रीज के साथ, सऊदी इज द ओनली कंट्री which always remained behind the scenes. It never overtly,
Yes.
they went with public statements, but that was about it.
That's
nothing
it.
more, nothing less. It was more the Egyptians and the Jordans and the others.
Not even
Israelis,
logistics.
Even not very less logistics.
Yes.
The problem with this kind of a defense pact is two. Now, इसमें आता है trade, इसमें आती है economics. Now, a lot of people talk about IMAC corridor, right? But if you look at IMAC corridor in a very subtle manner, अगर आप उसको threadbare देखते हो, उसमें सबसे बड़े दो beneficiaries कौन है? It is not India. It is not anybody else. It is Saudi Arabia. It is Israel.
Yes.
Because what Saudi wants to do is it wants to transfer its energy needs to Europe bypassing Turkey
Yes.
completely. So they want to cut off Turkey from that line. The Israelis want to, basically milk that because they're sitting at a location where, Haifa is there.
Getting commission all the way.
Not only getting commission, but they're going to get, good business for themselves, right? So both Saudi Arabia and Israel have similar interest.
Biggest beneficiary of this grand project.
अब इसमें बड़ा डाउट है कि इंडिया it is going to affect India. But yet let's look at the trade numbers. ठीक है? Of course it's going to benefit India. I'm not saying that it is not beneficial for India. But tell me, where is India affected in trading with the Middle East or with the Europe at the moment now?
Obviously
No.
not.
Our trade with UAE is very good. Our trade with Saudi is very good. Our trade with
Almost
Israel is very
$50 billion.
We are using Suez Canal openly.
Yes.
The Indian ships are hardly hit in the Red Sea by
Yes,
duties.
never.
ठीक है? So Indian access anyway is pretty open and pretty good. Yes, India does gain from the IMAC corridor in the larger terms, but it is not India which is the central of the IMAC corridor. It is the Saudi Arabia
and Israel.
Now look at what is happening. The Iranians are backing the Hamas. The Iranians are backing the Salafis
Yes.
in Yemen. ठीक है? Israelis realize that, the war which is happening in Gaza, as long as the land borders are concerned, they have eliminated the threat of Bashir Assad in
Syria.
Okay, they've got Jalali. And I'll come to where now the problem is going to be.
North
So
and
bear with
northeast.
me, it's going to be a lengthy discussion. That is one part of it. The other part of it is the Saudis are extremely jittery of the same Houthis, because if you remember, for 3 years, Saudis, when MBS came, they fought a very bitter war with the Yemenis.
Still they have been.
They still are. They
September
bombed the
में
hell
ही
out of them.
I'll just try to add one incident. हुदीस ने 2 बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल्स जो हैं वो इजराइल के लिए छोड़ी थी, एंड इन द मिडिल ऑफ सऊदी स्काइज दे वर इंटरसेप्टेड. और इसके पहले जो 2 बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल थी, दे वर एबल टू पेनिट्रेट द entire Saudi air space, which is well defended by Greek Patriot air defense system.
See, Saudi is the only, after UAE, who has the third intercontinental
Yes.
ballistic missile, anti-ballistic missile system.
Terminal high
Yeah,
altitude.
but ये भी देखो ना कि Yemenis had also attacked Jeddah. Yemenis had also attacked Makkah.
Yes.
So the Yemenis have not held themselves back, attacking critical positions. Now the problem with the Israelis is, how do you contain Yemen and how do you contain Houthis? The jitteriness with the Saudis is that if this war continues and the Houthis, the way they are going with Israel, with Iran, how does that impact the Saudi relation? How does that impact the Saudi, security? So if you have to contain Houthis to a point where they are irrelevant in this conflict, then you need a land invasion.
Yes.
Israel cannot put its troop on the ground.
There's no way.
Americans cannot put their troops on the ground. The only country which is in a position to put its troops on the ground is Saudi Arabia. Now, will Saudi...
Pakistan.
No. Saudi Arabia. The point is Saudi able to put its troop on the ground? No. They tried it. It didn't work for them. Those 3 years were very bad for them. Rahil Sharif was heading that, the Pakistani general. So
I guess he is still in Riyadh only.
he's still in Riyadh only.
That so-called force and
Yes.
commander of that
so
force.
by next year, except there is going to be a conflagration of this conflict where Yemenis will actually, it just needs a trigger. Whether it's an orchestrated trigger or it's a real trigger, all it will need is some trigger with the Saudis for the Houthis or the Yemenis to go ahead and create a conflict. That will give Saudis an option to, apart from carrying out the bombings, to actually do a land invasion. invasion.
Yes.
Now, who's going to do that land invasion? The Saudi soldiers are not that well trained and not that well fought that they're going to go and hold a back.
There's no volume either.
So Pakistan fits.
Yes.
Sure.
And by the way, I guess the viewers must know around 1,500 to 2,000 Pakistani army soldiers are already in Pakistan in multiple roles, and they have always been there.
They have been training Saudis. Yeah. They do joint exercises with Saudis. They do Air Force exercises with Saudis. That is where they learned the Rafale, flying Rafale also in Qatar and in Saudi Arabia. Right? Then they keep on doing that. Qatar. But if you remember, this is very reminiscent of history. Jordan wanted the Pakistanis to eliminate Palestinians.
Yes.
Right? And the Pakistanis did that.
They happily butchered fellow Muslim Palestinians.
25,000 Palestinians were literally slaughtered by the Pakistanis. This time the Saudis want Pakistanis to do the same for them in Yemen.
Yes.
That is number one. Okay. So, because if you get the Houthis under control in Yemen, half of the aggression of Hamas is again then taken care of. That means pressure on Gaza and pressure on Israel is going to come down. Okay? It doesn't stop there. So that is what the game plan is. Let's come to point number 2.
Yes.
Where Pakistanis are needed. Now, obviously the Iranians and the Turkish are not going to let this go easy. Okay? अब मुझे आप एक चीज बताओ, why did you need to do an Arab Islamic summit when you already have an OIC?
Yes.
That means somewhere that the OIC in itself is so fractured within that you needed a new kind of a force or a new kind of a body to come in which will override the OIC and which will bring closely all the people, all these countries who are aligned on the same thought to exercise what they want to do, and that is where Qatar came into play. Okay? Now the Americans have a very clear policy with the Middle East. They're using the Qataris to, one, further an agenda where they want regime changes to happen in the Middle East. 2, at the same time, deter Iran from becoming too big for it.
Yes.
Because Qatar is playing both sides. Israelis, the way they view this conflict, they don't see Saudi Arabia as a direct threat. Okay? Now, there is a lot of talk in American think tanks that it is, this pact is basically upsetting the Western US, going out of the US umbrella of security guarantees and Saudis looking for an alternative security. I am not going to buy that narrative. I'll tell you why. Because Saudis have always been a part of the American narrative. Pakistan has always been a part of them. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan,
Seato and Cento.
No, yes. Forget Seato and Cento. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and United States have been working closely for decades now, at least as I remember from 1960s.
This is exactly what I'm saying कि ये तो उस टाइम से कर रहे हैं, 58 के टाइम से कर रहे हैं, पहले सीएटो में किया, फिर सेंटो में किया, अभी एक नया मैकेनिज्म है जो इन्होंने ढूंढ के निकाला हुआ है.
अमेरिकन्स का जो ये है कहना कि it is to warn Americans or not being happy.
They are interpreting it as कि जो रियाद है ये वॉशिंगटन पे अब रिलाई नहीं कर सकता है.
Yeah, but why would you need Pakistan if you cannot rely on Washington? You have a better ally which is called China. The Chinese have already shown interest. The Chinese also gave a peace plan for the Middle East. They wanted to engage Saudi Arabia.
But China...
What does Pakistan bring on the table? How can you replace America with Pakistan? You can replace
China
America with China.
पाकिस्तान अपने सोल्जर्स भेज सकता है. दूसरी चीज जब सऊदी ऑफिशियल से ये पूछा गया कि क्या इसमें न्यूक्लियर अम्ब्रेला भी शामिल होगा, तो the response was it encompasses all.
See, the Saudis have neither accepted it nor denied it.
Yes.
उसके पीछे एक और reason है. The way Asim Munir has been harping about, I will take half the world down. ठीक है? I've been saying this for a very long time. People have not been buying this very seriously. If you look at the plan of Americans to denuclearize Pakistan, they always had a plan of taking Pakistani nukes and shifting them to Saudi Arabia. After especially Iranians have reached almost a capacity where they can actually manufacture nuclear weapons, the Saudis would want a nuclear weapon as an assurance and an insurance against the Iranians more than the Israelis. Let me be very clear about it. ठीक है, they have bigger threat coming from Iran than they have.
This is exactly at this time. At this time, I do not think so. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or the security establishment of the kingdom thinks that they have some sort of threat emancipating from Israel.
No, see, the threat is always there. If you play the bad guy, the Israelis will come after you. But Israel has always refrained itself from coming after the Saudis in a long time. The only thing they did,
In fact, they always have an active, open back channel dialogue with the Saudis.
No, don't forget that Abraham Accords was signed by the Saudis.
Yes.
The Saudis actually go ahead and recognize, on the verge of recognizing them. Even in this conflict, till the day Hamas attacked, look at the way Saudi has basically been very, very neutral in a lot of ways. And actually somewhere also a bit sympathetic towards Israel. They have not involved themselves into this.
Exactly.
Till the attack on Qatar happened. Now, why that prompted it is because the moment they realized this attack on Qatar is going to bring the opposing forces, which is Iran, Turkey, Qatar into the play in Middle East, the Saudis know that their role and their sphere of influence is very, very less.
Yes.
Okay. Now, also getting Pakistan into a fold does another thing, which is it tries to take it out of the Turkish fold. Because if you see the Pakistan-Turkish relationship or the way Erdogan has been, and Pakistani military and Pakistani politicians, Imran Khan as well, the way they try to play their, I will be very honest, they changed their Abus from Arabs to Turks.
Yes.
Right? The way they wanted to forge a relationship with Turkey. The Saudis see that as a threat. And to negate that, I'm not saying that they're going to take Pakistan away 100%, but I'm telling you that even if they're able to control Pakistan 40% and take that control away from Turkey and Pakistan for 40%, they'll be pretty happy.
Yes.
Also remember, Pakistan is the neighbor of Iran. Right? So if the Iranians want to play dirty and they lose in where? Yemen. Then the Iranians will play dirty in Pakistan.
Balochistan.
Pakistan. Forget Balochistan पे तो मैं भी आऊँगा. तभी मैं कह रहा हूँ.
I'm talking about the Iranian Balochistan and the Pakistani Balochistan and the $1 million oil smuggling.
Balochistan पे तो मैं भी आऊँगा. See, there is no $1 million oil smuggling happening. Pakistan buys 800 barrels. Pakistan doesn't buy. Pakistan smuggles 800 barrels every day from Iran. That's 13% of Pakistani fuel which comes from Iran every day. ठीक है. Balochistan पे तो मैं भी आऊँगा. Where will Iranians play the dirty game? They will play it in Pakistan. ठीक है. So who is going to take the brunt of this conflict? It's going to be Pakistan. But what does Pakistan get out of it? The only thing they see is dollars. 1. 2.
Political legitimacy also, because a country like Saudi Arabia, अगर एक सऊदी अरेबिया जैसा मुल्क आपके साथ डिफेंस पैक्ट करे, तो जो ग्लोबल लेवल पे जो पाकिस्तान की लेजिटिमेसी है या फेस वैल्यू है, जो कि बिल्कुल भी नहीं एग्जिस्ट करती है, हाँ, उसको थोड़ा सा जो है वो फेस मिल जाएगा.
मेरे को नहीं लगता ग्लोबल लेवल पे पाकिस्तान को कुछ फेस मिलने वाला है. ग्लोबल लेवल पे इतना ही फेस मिलने वाला है कि कतर, जो इस्लामिक कंट्रीज जैसे कतर है, टर्की है, यस, दे विल स्टार्ट बैकिंग पाकिस्तान डिप्लोमेटिकली where it is needed. They might harp a few things, but look at it in a bigger way.
No, सिर्फ मिलिट्री तरीके से नहीं देख सकते हैं ना. कल को अगर कोई भी फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन होगा जो पाकिस्तान के साथ इन्वॉल्व होना चाहेगा, considering the fact that now they have a non-stop access to Saudi dollars,
see,
they will be willing to involve with Pakistan.
That is a mistake we're trying to make here. That we think it's going to be non-stop access.
So I was saying कि इनको पाकिस्तान को जब सऊदी अरेबिया, सिर्फ सऊदी अरेबिया ही नहीं इन्वॉल्व है, सऊदी अरेबिया की इंस्टीट्यूशंस भी कहीं ना कहीं इन्वॉल्व होंगे.
करेक्ट.
इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि सऊदी अरेबिया ने अपना खजाना खोल दिया, लेकिन ग्लोबल लेवल पे ऐसे देखा जा सकता है कि एक पॉलिटिकल लेजिटिमेसी जो करंट गवर्नमेंट या करंट इंस्टीट्यूशन है पाकिस्तान में, उसको सऊदी अरेबिया ने दे दी है. अब सऊदी अरेबिया को सिर्फ सऊदी अरेबिया की तरह नहीं देखते हैं. सऊदी अरेबिया को ये देखते हैं कि सऊदी अरेबिया के पास कितना तेल है, कितना इनके पास फॉरेन रिजर्व्स है, इनका अमेरिका के साथ क्या ताल्लुक है, इनके बरतानिया के साथ क्या ताल्लुक है, इनके वेस्टर्न इंस्टीट्यूशंस के साथ क्या ताल्लुकात हैं, इनके जो वेस्टर्न फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनके साथ क्या ताल्लुक है. इन सब चीज़ों को मद्देनजर, अगर इन सब चीज़ों को एक फ्रेम में रखेंगे तो इससे पाकिस्तान को कुछ हासिल हुआ हो या ना हासिल हुआ हो, चाहे फेस वैल्यू पे या चाहे सब्सटेंशियल रियल वैल्यू में, लेकिन थोड़ा सा इनको एक पॉलिटिकल लेजिटिमेसी मिल जाएगी कि ठीक है आपके साथ किंगडम ऑफ सऊदी अरेबिया इन्वॉल्व है इन दैट in terms of mutual defense agreement pact.
You're absolutely right on this, and I'll tell you how. One, they are going to get access, as you said, about the dollars. Now, how much limited or unlimited access?
True.
Second thing, what Pakistan will also be able to get is oil on credit, which the Saudis have not been giving them at all.
Oil and dollar deposit in their bank accounts.
Yeah. So what will happen is that if Pakistan loses its oil smuggling from Iran, which I don't think, because their army makes tons of money onto it, right? But they have a counter guarantee from the Saudis saying that your oil supplies will not be stopped. We will give you a line of credit.
Yes.
So maybe even if they get $1 billion to $2 billion line of credit from the Saudis, that suffices Pakistan. Even a $500 million suffices Pakistan, right? So in that way, yes, they get legitimacy, but they get a bigger legitimacy. They get a legitimacy the moment they start fighting, one, in Gaza, two, for standing for the Saudi royal force and defending the Makkah and Medina. Where do they get this political legitimacy? One, within their jihadi groups.
Yes.
They are going to find it ecstatic. Okay? They're going to have orgasms on this.
Yes.
Number two is they will also hope that this kind of relationship will ease the pressure from Afghan Taliban. Because once the Saudis are directly involved with Pakistan, the Afghan Taliban, then they can be reined in through Saudis. Because, you know, the arrangement between Taliban and Saudi Arabia, and we know the influence of Saudi Arabia on Afghan Taliban is huge. Qatar might have brokered the deal, but the ideological moorings is right in Saudi Arabia. Okay? That is also the Pakistani calculation into it. Third Pakistani calculation would be, one, they are fighting for Makkah and Medina, saving Makkah and Medina. This is the narrative they will push to the ground. Okay? They will forget that these are the same Houthis who are fighting the Israelis and for Gaza. They will say the Makkah and Medina is under threat and we need to fight them. Okay? So this is the narrative the Pakistanis will do.
They उनको अपने मुल्क में और भी ज़्यादा इनफैक्ट लेजिटिमेसी इस तरीके से मिल सकती है कि जो the two holy mosques, we are the sole guardian of two holy mosques.
Yeah, the way Pakistanis say we are,
yes.
You know, we are
because ये narrative उनका हमें, we are defenders of Islam, we are defenders of the two holy mosques.
And this will add to one more thing, which is very interesting, where the Qatar thing comes in. Now, when we talk about the joint forces of Qatar, do you really think Qatar, Turkey, Iran, Israel will allow them to get their soldiers inside Gaza when Israel vacates Gaza to after cleaning?
Obviously not.
So who's going to do the job? Who will kill Palestinians there?
I don't think so. They are stupid enough to send their soldiers to
so who's going to
West Bank or Gaza Strip.
The Pakistanis are going to do it, right? So what are the Pakistanis going to do? They're going to kill the Palestinians. They're going to kill Hamas, but they are going to say that we are protecting Gaza from the Israelis. We're keeping Israelis away from Gaza. So Pakistan is going to milk from both ways, from the Saudis and from the Qataris and Turkish. Okay? So it's going to be something, if you remember 1979 onwards, the way Pakistan emerged on a terror map, you know, on the global jihadist map. It's pretty similar where Pakistan is going to go. But then this is going to have a problem. इसका बूमरैंग इफेक्ट जो है इस बारी वो किसी और कंट्री में नहीं आएगा, वो पाकिस्तान में ही आएगा. सऊदीज का आप ये भी देखो कि द वे दे वांट टू इन्वेस्ट ऑन अमेरिकन इंस्टेंस इन बलोचिस्तान. Saudis getting into Balochistan with the Americans is going to be a problem for China.
Yes.
Right. The Chinese are going to counter this. The Chinese counter is always going to be Iran and Turkey. Okay? By the way, Donald Trump today has tweeted out saying that I'm very pleased to have Erdogan on 25th of September, where we're going to talk about F-16s and future F-35s. F-35 तो उनको देने वाला है नहीं.
F-16
वैसे export हो गए. But the point is now he's again realizing that Turkey is becoming too close an ally of China. टर्की, ईरान, चाइना, पाकिस्तान, चाइना एक्सेस जो है ना उसको तोड़ने की कोशिश कर रहा है. उसके लिए टर्की के साथ डील स्वीट कर रहा है. ठीक है, बट उसमें इजरायली कितने हैप्पी होंगे, क्योंकि द प्रॉब्लम नाउ इज दैट वंस गाजा स्टॉप्स, सीरिया इरप्ट्स. because no way Israelis will let Turkey exert its maximum influence into Syria and then to neighboring Arab
Absolutely
countries.
not.
ठीक है? So they are going to fight in Syria. Syria is going to erupt.
I guess something is already brewing between Israel and Turkey. Let's see how it culminates.
Yeah, no. Now listen to this. This is interesting. Now, how does Syria erupt? You already have AQI man sitting out there, Jolan. ठीक है? How do you break him? You can only break him through ISIS. So you will have a resurgence of ISIS in Syria. Who is going to support it? The Pakistani terror factories are going to support it. So what is going to happen is the Pakistani terror factories are going to again, you can say, become active. ठीक है? Because obviously jihad हो रहा है तो Pakistanis are going to have orgasms, their jihadi factories are going to have orgasms. और ये जो ISIS का resurgence होगा ये सीरिया में होगा और ये इसलिए होगा कि टर्किश और जुलानी का जो लिमिटेड ये है उसको लिमिटेड रखने के लिए. सो दे यू गोना हैव अनदर स्मॉल वॉर इन सीरिया वेयर टिल इजराइल डजंट गेट इट्स होल्ड एंड यू नो द साउदीज डजंट गेट देयर होल्ड बैक इनटू सीरिया एंड द टर्किश एंड द इरानियन इन्फ्लुएंस इज अगेन कर्टल्ड. They are again going to fight onto it. That is where Muslim Brotherhood also comes into the picture. Okay. As far as Qatar is concerned, the Qatar is going to be the biggest money laundering country for the Americans to the jihadis. That is not going to change. That is going to be there. So anybody who says that they have Middle East figured out is oversimplification. It's a wheel within wheels. It's cycle
Middle
within cycles.
Easterners
And
themselves, they haven't been able to figure out.
Yeah, and it cycles out of cycles.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, किस पलरा जाएगा, which way it will swing, you don't know till it begins.
Exactly.
But that round two is, these are all the possibilities which can happen in Middle East, and this is what is probably seems like what is going to happen. Now tell me what next.
लेकिन इसको ऐसे देखते हैं कि अगर इजराइल ने दोहा पे अटैक ना किया होता, दो चीज़ें हैं. इजराइल ने कहा है कि हमने जो हमास के बचे हुए लीडर्स थे उन पे अटैक किया है. इसका दूसरा एस्पेक्ट ये है, ये वो लोग हैं जो पीस नेगोशिएशन को नेगोशिएट कर रहे थे. एवरीबडी नोज इजराइल इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ पीस नेगोशिएशन बट एब्सोल्यूट डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ गाजा बिकॉज
Of Hamas basically.
आई डोंट थिंक सो वो गाजा और हमास में डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं बिकॉज उनका बहुत सिंपल सा है कि हमने लीफलेट डाल दी हैं, जो हमास नहीं है दे विल लीव, जो हमास है दे विल स्टे. एग्जैक्टली, दे विल स्टे. सो पीस में बिल्कुल भी नहीं इंटरेस्टेड हैं. और लोगों का ऐसा कहना है, जो दूसरा वर्ग है, कि ये वो लोग थे जो अमेरिकन, फ्रेंच या कतारीज के साथ या फिर इजिप्शियन अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ पीस डील नेगोशिएट कर रहे थे. नाउ दे हैव बीन डिस्ट्रॉयड. सो इसके पहले ईरान था, उसके पहले कॉन्टिन्यूस बैक टू बैक बॉम्बिंग इन लेबनान, सीरिया. इनफैक्ट इजिप्ट ने भी कुछ दिन पहले एक डायर वार्निंग इशू की थी इजराइल को. सो अगर ये सारे के सारे एपिसोड्स ना हुए होते, पहले आप लेबनान पे ना जाते, फिर सीरिया पे ना जाते, फिर ईरान पे ना जाते, फिर दोहा पे ना जाते, या फिर इनकेस आप दोहा पे ना आते, तो आपको लगता है कि ये डील हुई होती या ना हुई होती. सेकेंडली, इसके जस्ट बाद जो एग्जिस्टिंग कतार और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स का एग्रीमेंट है, इट हैज़ बीन इम्प्रूव्ड, न्यू क्लॉसेस हैव बीन एडेड. सो क्या ये ट्रिगर पॉइंट था? इजरायली अग्रेशन in Qatar, was this the trigger point for culmination of this deal between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan? अगर ये ना हुआ होता तो क्या ये हुआ होता?
This deal would still have gone through.
अभी?
Yes. This deal would have still gone through, irrespective of Qatar पे कितना aggression होता कितना नहीं होता, because the wheels were
I'm
set in
saying
motion.
they chose the day. It was Narendra Modi's birthday. So क्या उसी दिन होता या फिर कुछ वक्त लगता है?
I don't think it has got to do anything with Narendra Modi's birthday.
All right.
I don't think the timing has to do anything with that. I think we are reading too much into the situation.
So हमारा काम ही ये है ना, जितना ज़्यादा हो सके maximum reading out of a simple scenario.
But I don't think it has got anything to do with Prime Minister. It's just a coincidence it was Prime Minister's birthday that day. I don't see anything beyond that.
Saudi Arabia gave I will not say clarification, क्योंकि उन्हें clarification देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, लेकिन additional statements की जो हमारे इंडिया के साथ ties हैं वो बहुत ज़्यादा robust हैं. वैसे भी सऊदी अरेबिया और पाकिस्तान, इंडिया का जो ट्रेड है, दैट इज स्टैंडिंग समवेयर अराउंड $49-50 billion, एंड विद पाकिस्तान इट इज जस्ट $3.5 to $4.5 billion.
At the end of the day, it is all about economy.
But
no nation gives away its economy except Canada, which I have seen, but they have also made a lot of money from terrorism. No?
Yes.
So let's not talk about that. But then the point is, it's always about economy. And look at look at Bin Salman's plan also. Salman wants to liberalize Saudi Arabia. He's already put that wheel into motion, right?
Yes.
देखो यार, एक चीज please understand this. No matter how many monarchs are sitting in Middle East, or military dictators are sitting in Egypt, Sisi is there, right? Or Jordan में jihadi बैठा हुआ है. Sorry, not Jordan. Syria में jihadi बैठा हुआ है. But please understand that the Arab mindset is very, very different when it comes to Israel. There is a lot of anger in the Muslim world about how Israel is going about this war and how belligerently they have been able to bomb, and Muslim nations have literally not been able to stand up. They had not shown any spine to them, except Iran, to some extent. Okay? Let's agree to that. This pressure is a political pressure as well for these monarchs and these generals and everybody. All it needs is one flashpoint or two flashpoints for this to erupt. So you need to really deregulate this team somewhere else also. You need to bring that faith back into your people, saying that no, we are serious about Israel and we're going to deal about them. That is why this Islamic summit happened. Okay? This is why this whole posturing is happening. This is why they are talking about this nuclear cover of saying that we have a nuclear cover extended on Israel and on Iran and all those nonsense. The Saudis have done that. The Qataris called for this and they said we'll find a joint, and if something happens, we'll go ahead. See, American guarantees to Qatar, tell me what has it done for Qatar? Despite being the biggest base in the Middle East for the Americans, do you really believe that Doha attack,
I fail to believe that the American forces or their intelligence agencies simply did not know that Israel was doing this. Their fighters were airborne, their missiles were airborne.
Why do their intelligence agencies need to know when Donald Trump himself said the Israelis informed us that we are going to carry this bombing out, and we told the Qataris that it is going to happen?
CENTCOM.
Forget CENTCOM. Why do you need CENTCOM when your president is in loop? Your president has conveyed the message to the Qataris. See, the point is they know Hamas has become too big for its shoes, and Hamas is a part of a problem, not a solution. You need to get rid of Hamas. It was bait, hook, line and sinker. The Qataris were the ones who told them, नहीं तुम आओ इस पे बात करो.
But see, there are
कमरे में उनको लाया और उनको मरवा दिया.
Two narratives from American media and officials. Some said we did not know it. Some said we know it. Personally, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, I am not talking about the American officials, but the agencies involved with military, they must have known because fighter jets were airborne and they were target which were located, buildings were figured out, and missiles were airborne.
यार मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ. I mean, you know, this is like.
But then again, मुझे लगता है कि इजराइल और अमेरिका को ये बताने की जरूरत नहीं है दुनिया को या कतर को कि हमें पता था या नहीं पता था. आपको जैसे इंटरप्रेट करना कर दीजिए.
We told Qatar. Donald Trump was very clear that I communicated it to Qataris saying that the attack is coming. Now there was not enough time for the Qataris to react. So that is only the olive branch he gave the Qataris to say that okay तुमको नहीं पता था या तुम कुछ कर नहीं पाए. But ऐसा नहीं है कि तुमको पता नहीं था. You were 100% a part of that plan. There is no way Israel is going to bomb Qatar just because they want to bomb Qatar.
But Qatari अमीर ने ये कहा कि we reserve right to respond. आपको लगता है कि कुछ भी करने की हालात में है ये, despite having Rafales?
They are saying despite having anything. The point is, why would Qatar go to war with Israel when it is fighting Israel's war in Gaza? That is what I'm trying to. It's sleeping in bed both with Iran and with the Americans. ठीक है? So Qataris can say we have a right to respond. The Qataris are not going to respond.
No, I am simply talking about the capability. That's it. पीछे का नहीं.
No, there is no capability.
Yes.
Because they know they will be obliterated.
In terms of energy supplies and finances, there's nothing they can do about it. They simply had to absorb this monumental humiliation.
This is the cost you pay of playing this game.
Yes.
Right? This is why the Saudis got out of this game about good 10 years ago.
True.
And this is what the Qataris took over. This is why Qatar is, you say, a sophisticated Pakistan.
True.
Sophisticated Pakistan, because he wants to play all sides. This is exactly why Qatar was on board. The Qataris, it's like यार पाकिस्तानी saying Osama bin Laden हमारे घर में नहीं था, हमारे घर में था, हमको पता ही नहीं चला, अमेरिकी आके ठोक के मार गए. उन्होंने भी वही बोला, हमास को मार गए, हमको नहीं पता, हमारा कोई लेना देना इसके साथ नहीं है. सेम टेक्स्ट बुक है, nothing different है. But the Qataris were on board on this. They wanted the leadership to go. अब क्या होगा? अब जो नई लीडरशिप आएगी, चाहे पुरानी हो चाहे नहीं हो, ये आएगी पाकिस्तान में.
हमास
नहीं
के
बैठेंगे मिडिल ईस्ट में।
दिस इज समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज हमास के जो एक दो नेगोशिएटर हैं, जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं, या जो उनके क्रिमिनल गैंगस्टर्स हैं, जो भी आप उनके लिए इस्तेमाल यूज करना चाहें अल्फाज कर लें, मुझे लगता है इस टाइम सबसे ज़्यादा सेफ हेवन और सबसे ज़्यादा पॉलिटिकल एंड सोशल लेजिटिमेसी और एक्नॉलेजमेंट उनको कहीं मिलेगा तो इस्लामिक जमहूरिया पाकिस्तान में मिलेगा।
पैसा भी जो आएगा वो पाकिस्तान में आएगा, तो पाकिस्तान में
जनरल्स विल हैप्पीली शेयर। इनफैक्ट विद देयर प्रेजेंस जनरल्स का अलग से कमीशन बन जाएगा।
जनरल्स की तो चांदी हो जाएगी ना, इनके तो 5 मिलियन घी में चलेगी।
अगर कोई भी पॉलिटिकल सिंबॉलिक पॉलिटिकल हेडक्वार्टर्स भी होता है।
This is why I have always been saying that Asim Munir is Zia-ul-Haq 2.0.
100%.
And that is exactly what is going to happen with him.
He started the Islamization of Pakistan, and maybe with Allah's grace, Asim Munir will finish the Islamization of Pakistan.
That is what is going to happen. The game will end on Iranian borders in Balochistan and within Pakistan. That is where it is going to go. So now comes India.
Let's talk about India. सबसे पहले इंडिया को कितना वरी होना चाहिए या नहीं वरी होना चाहिए?
यार देखो, there are two things. One is rhetoric and one is action.
या फिर डायरेक्टली इसका क्या सीधा लेना देना है अपने मुल्क के अजीज हिंदुस्तान से या नहीं?
मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. There are two things. One is rhetoric. One is action.
Yes.
Rhetoric, you will see action. We will have to worry because in terms of social media war, information warfare, statements, you will see
diplomatic
entanglements.
ये थोड़ी सी इंटेंस हो जाएंगी for sure.
थोड़ी सी इंटेंस हो जाएंगी.
Yes.
ठीक है. They will start doing कश्मीर कहीं पे बोल देंगे, कहीं पाकिस्तान का फेवर कर देंगे, जो अभी तक अवॉइड कर रहे थे, OIC में भी अवॉइड कर रहे थे. So you will see those kind of bickerings happening. Now it comes to action. The biggest problem is going to be that we might see a resurgence of insurgency in Kashmir.
Yes.
Because they will now be in a position to push far more men across the border.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, don't forget Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a threat, will remain a threat, and the threat is going to be ISIS from Bangladesh. And Pakistanis are hand in glove that game. Okay? So you have the real threat with you is terrorism threat. Now, as long as they play this low threshold terrorism in the valley, we are going to be occupied, our forces are going to be occupied. Okay? The moment Pakistanis step out of their shoes and do something like Pahalgam
or Pulwama,
or let's say Pahalgam, Pulwama, or something like that, step out of that typical low threshold and move to a medium to high threshold, there is going to be a huge repercussion. I foresee that even before the threshold happens, there is a possibility that India and Pakistan are going to clash. And maybe by the end of this year. Maybe.
We're expecting something to happen in September and October, but so far nothing has happened, and that's good.
October to December, that's the timeline. Could extend till January or
लेकिन yes, जो so-called non-state actors हैं, जो उनके advisors हैं, जो पाकिस्तानी गवर्नमेंट के साथ इंटीग्रेटेड हैं, इट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स कि वो किस तरीके की मैसेजिंग नॉन स्टेट एक्टर्स को या जो इनके लीडरान हैं उनको देते हैं कि देखिए ऐसा हो गया है, अब हम ऐसे कर सकते हैं.
तो वो करेंगे. दैट ऑलरेडी इज हैपनिंग. द मैसेजिंग इज ऑलरेडी हैपनिंग. The non-state actors are all fully on board in Pakistan. Where is Maulana, by the way, in Pakistan? Has anybody heard about
No.
In one of my podcasts, I had said this, that after September you will not see it.
And दूसरा वाकया ये है कि कल को अगर कुछ इस तरीके की दहशतगर्दी होती है हिंदुस्तान में, जहाँ पे इंडिया के पास, बिकॉज नाउ इंडिया हैज डिसाइडेड कि कुछ भी इस तरीके की एक्टिविटी होगी उसको हम एज एन अग्रेशन ट्रीट करेंगे और जिसका बहुत ही वाजिब जवाब दिया जाएगा. तो कुछ लोगों को ये लगता है कि अगर इंडिया एक काइनेटिक एक्शन में या काइनेटिक रिटेलिएटरी स्ट्राइक में इन्वॉल्व होता है तो उनको लगता है अगर पाकिस्तान एट द सेम टाइम, सबसे पहले तो ये डिपेंड करता है कि पाकिस्तान ये आर्टिकल या ये पैक्ट इन्वोक करता है या नहीं करता है. और अगर इन्वोक करता है तो ऐसा बहुत लोगों को कन्फ्यूजन है कि सऊदी अरेबिया इमीडिएटली इन्वॉल्व हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. सऊदी अरेबिया के पास भी मल्टीट्यूड ऑफ एक्शंस हैं. सबसे पहले डिप्लोमेटिक एंगेजमेंट होगी जहाँ पे हमारे उनके पास रश करेंगे, उनके हमारे पास रश करेंगे. सऊदी अरेबिया इज गोइंग टू मेक पाकिस्तान अंडरस्टैंड कि आपने क्या किया है, इसके क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हो सकते हैं। अगर इसके बावजूद थर्ड लेवल पे सऊदी अरेबिया खुद भी एसेस करेगा कि ये रिटेलिएशन था या इंडियन अग्रेशन ऑन पाकिस्तानी सोवरेनिटी एज बीइंग क्लेम्ड बाय पाकिस्तान। चौथा इसका लेवल ये होगा कि अगर इसके बावजूद प्रेशर है, सो मैक्सिमम से मैक्सिमम उन्होंने स्टेटमेंट दे दिया एंटी इंडिया या फिर कंडेमनिंग इंडियन एक्शंस। पांचवा, उन्होंने लॉजिस्टिक्स में हेल्प कर दी। लॉजिस्टिक्स में हेल्प करने का मतलब ये भी है कि क्योंकि आपके फाइटर जेट्स उड़ेंगे तो आपको थोड़ा सा तेल दे दिया, या फिर कुछ एक आपकी ऐसी फोर्सेस हैं 100 से 50 जो ऑलरेडी सऊदी अरेबिया में ट्रेन कर रही हूँ, उनको स्पेशली डिप्लॉयड कर दिया कहीं पे जाकर के, और इंडिया को बता दिया कि ये जो जियोग्राफिकल एरिया है यहाँ पे हमारी फोर्सेस हैं।
Not gonna happen.
So
that is one thing which will never
non-combatant.
Never will happen.
War scenario, war gaming की बात कर रहे हैं।
War gaming में बताता हूँ, it will never happen. I'll tell you why. The Saudis are not even willing to protect their own borders here. They want Pakistani soldiers to come and protect them. ठीक है? You think Saudi Arabia is going to deploy people outside their territory?
It's not about deployment. Non-combatant forces का symbolic deployment because I'll tell you, मैंने इसे 5वें लेवल पे इसी वजह से रखा है क्योंकि पाकिस्तान जो है वो इंसिस्ट कर रहा है कि नहीं, दिस पैक्ट हैज टू बी ट्रिगर्ड, दिस सो कॉल्ड फला एंड फला आर्टिकल हैज टू बी ट्रिगर्ड।
Let me give first of all, Pakistan could insist on anything. The Saudis will not do it.
Definitely.
If you remember, Pakistan had a very iron, deeper than ocean, higher than mountain relationship with the Chinese. ठीक है? Pakistanis always thought when India will attack, China will help them. 1971 war, even Kissinger wanted China to move. Right? The Chinese were very clear. The Chinese told Pakistanis, and that is why the strategic depth of Afghanistan came into play. Kissinger, the Chinese told Pakistanis, we are with you, but even if you have to go into the mountains and fight, please go in mountains. Actually saying कि अगर ये तुम्हारे अंदर भी घुस जाते हो, तुमको पहाड़ों, अफगानिस्तान के पहाड़ों में जाके लड़ना, तो वहां लड़ो, हम नहीं आ रहे।
बिल्कुल।
ठीक है? Saudi Arabia is not going to put a foot outside Saudi Arabia. No non-combatant is going to come. Because you have to understand the window of India-Pakistan war. It is not going to be anywhere between 3 to 7 days. In those 3 to 7 days, Saudi Arabia is not going to do anything except
एक और चीज भी है।
The only thing is oil. I have told you that they will be giving them.
Yes, थोड़े से oil दे देंगे। वो logistic supports आता है and they have fulfilled the requirement of triggering that article.
Saudi Arabia is under no, condition to give Pakistan any other logistics which might include, let's say, state of art American, because वो खुद American उड़ाते हैं।
Eurofighters, Typhoon and F-16s.
Now, हाँ, so एक और issue which I forgot to mention this point is the Chinese have completely withdrawn in Pakistan from CPEC. The Pakistanis did a lot of hoopla last year. If you remember, J-35 आ रहा है, J-35 आ रहा है. The Chinese have given them a middle finger saying that कुछ नहीं आ रहा.
We are not sending.
Without money, you are not getting anything. So what are Pakistanis going to do? Pakistanis are going to take money from Saudi Arabia and they're going to buy military equipment from China.
Maybe.
And they will ask the Chinese and they will pay off some loans.
And this is also a sort of logistic supports.
So
the article has been triggered and the requirements have been fulfilled.
But in case of war with India, without except diplomatic pressure from Saudi, except Saudi telling ki back off, telling India it will have consequences on trade, maybe suspend trade with India for that time, maybe.
And that would be symbolic.
Maybe. Okay?
To please the Muslims.
To just hold on to what they want to do. Nothing is going to come from Saudi Arabia. Basically, this pact is nothing. It is basically Saudis absorbing Pakistan into saying that you owe us a lot of things which we have been giving you without any guarantees. Now we are going to take it away.
So इस पैक्ट में भी हम बराबर के भागीदार नहीं हैं। मैं बाप हूँ, आप बेटे हो, बेटा behave like a son.
मैं तुम्हारा, ये बाप बेटा वाला भी नहीं है. This is master slave relationship.
Precisely.
ठीक है, it's going to be a master slave relationship, and that is where this relationship is. So I don't think in terms of India we need to read too much into it. ठीक है, in terms of India, Saudi is going to do something, and if Saudi Arabia does that, then we have countermeasures. We have countermeasures with Israel. We have countermeasures with Turkey. We have Iran. We have relations with Iran. We have our own pullbacks to play with.
I don't think so.
I don't think
टर्की जो है वो 49-50 बिलियन डॉलर्स की ट्रेड को जेपार्डाइज करने के बारे में सोच भी सकता है, बट यस, हु हैव सीन
enemies your friend. That's how it works in geopolitics. So why would not Turkey do some kind of cozy going with India if the Saudis want to be? I mean, there are so many.
I mean, they will have a golden opportunity to become the sole leaders of Sunni Islam अगर इस तरीके के कोई हालात होते हैं,
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ.
और इंडिया
You have
India will push
huge pull and pushers
Yes,
playing
exactly.
everywhere. But yeah, the way Saudis are liberalizing, Saudi is not going to give away even a finger to Pakistan for India. They will not even.
इंडिया के पास बस एक चीज है कि आपको काइनेटिक एक्शन लेने से पहले, जिस टाइम आप ले रहे होंगे उस टाइम, और लेने के बाद जो आपकी डिप्लोमेटिक इंटेंगलमेंट है वो थोड़ा सा बढ़ जाएगी, आपको थोड़ा सा ज्यादा काम करना पड़ेगा, और सर तू मैं ज्यादा होगी, एंड वाइल यू आर डीलिंग विद द Saudi diplomats, you may have to involve the diplomats from China or Russia and UAE and America.
तो मैं होगी उससे ज़्यादा कुछ.
That is it. So yes. So इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि पाकिस्तान को किसी ने खुली छूट दे रखी है कि ठीक है. इनफैक्ट पाकिस्तान अगर इसको ऐसे लेता है कि अब हमें खुली छूट मिल गई है, it is going to be absolutely and extremely detrimental for Pakistani's interest.
See, that is the tragedy of Pakistan, that every time Pakistan gets a deal like this, they think they have got a khuli chhoot.
So they will have to pay.
And they have paid a huge price. I am telling you, this entanglement of Pakistan is going to sever Pakistan in the next 10 to 12 years. Wait for it and watch how.
So next time we will war game situation कि अगर एक ऐसा अटैक होता है तो टीयर 1 रिस्पॉन्स क्या होगा, टीयर 2 रिस्पॉन्स क्या होगा, टीयर 3 रिस्पॉन्स क्या होगा, दैट वुड बी इंटरेस्टिंग. और इन शॉर्ट फिलहाल इंडिया के पास ऐसी कोई भी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं है इन केस of a defined aggression coming from Pakistan.
Absolutely. So we end this discussion on this note. I hope you like this discussion. Kindly share it with your family and friends. Ask them to subscribe. Help me grow this channel more. And also you can contribute by becoming members through Super Chat and Super Stickers. And if you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments, and I'll try to answer as many questions as you have and come back to you maybe in a different program and answer your questions. I hope you like this episode. Till next time, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.